welcome to Sunday. It is Sunday, May 11th, 6:27 p.m. And first and foremost, for those of you who are listening that are mothers, happy Mother's Day. Y para los que hablan español, feliz Día de las Madres. I hope I said that okay. Sorry. For those of you who are Spanish speaking listeners, if you've been listening long enough, you know that I do speak some Spanish because I taught myself to speak the language. I'm a little rusty right now, but I hope I got that okay. Though also, by the way, in Mexico, Mother's Day is always the 10th. So your special day was yesterday. And also, before I begin, of course, I will be dedicating this particular episode to Mom, who I am certain is listening at this very moment. Today, I'll begin with an experience I had a few days ago. You know, I thought about maybe posting this a few days ago. Actually, it wasn't a few days ago. I'm sorry. It wasn't Friday. It was Saturday. It was Saturday, I believe, in the afternoon. And I was thinking about posting it then, but I figured that I should just do it today with the Sunday episode because I think it's relevant. So, the experience was quite beautiful, and I believe it may have been Mom reaching out to me to show me something special for this Mother's Day weekend. Now, for those of you who are interested, first and foremost, I want to note that I'm not talking about, I'm not going to get into what I thought it was because, again, remember, we're getting away from labeling things. It was an experience. It was a beautiful experience, regardless of whether you call it a lucid dream or a quote, a shift, a quote, astral projection, whatever it was. It certainly felt real to me, and it was a beautiful experience. And that's all that really matters. And remember, I talked about this web, and in this web, everything is connected. Lucid dreaming, shifting, astral projection, whatever. It's all connected. So, for those of you who are interested, I had nothing on in the background. In other words, I didn't have any binaural beats, no storm sounds, nothing at all. I was just kind of taking a nap in the middle of the afternoon, which is something we do as older folks do. I don't know the younger people. I know there's a lot of young people that listen to me. And yeah, it's what us older folks do sometime in the afternoon. We like to take a nap. And the experience began in darkness. So it was so dark, in fact, it could have been the void, actually. But when I experience the void, I normally feel weightless. And with this experience, I did not feel weightless at all. Now, I was in the darkness for a while, and I was just there. There wasn't a feeling of fear or anything. I wasn't scared. I was just there, kind of anticipating what's going to happen, what's going on. At one point, I felt hands grasping me from above. And, you know, those hands, they were strong, and they were pulling me upwards. And as this was happening through the darkness, I was getting a glimpse of what I perceived to be doctors. I saw, I believe, one doctor. And in fact, I'm trying to remember exactly what this person kind of looked like. He had glasses on, and there was a light, like a flashlight, or not a flashlight, something on his head or whatever, that was kind of a light, like a device like that. I remember, I think, seeing that. And then there were other glimpses that I had in the darkness. And as this was happening to me, I was wondering if this was what it was like to be born. Now, it was, it was an amazing feeling. Um, and again, thinking about it as I was there, I was like, I wonder if this is mom kind of showing me what it was like when I was born, like bringing me back to that time and demonstrating it. Now, once I was completely out, my consciousness transferred to, I guess, some kind of a body or something. Because what I can remember was I was suddenly walking around this area. Now, I didn't perceive it necessarily to be a hospital, but I did remember that there was a woman with blondish hair, and she was smiling at me. Moments later, I returned back to my bed. I just laid there thinking about mom. Now, I think that this particular experience will stay with me probably for the rest of my life. It was quite beautiful. Anyway, question. Have you guys been practicing? In my last video, I talked about picturing your journey into the dream world, like crossing a bridge. And in the middle of that bridge is a place where you can travel into the astral or into another reality. Again, it doesn't have to be a bridge, it can be anything your imagination conjures up. When and if you are able to get to this place, this in between place. Now, I've talked about this before in other videos, that there is an in between place I go to between being asleep and awake. The thing is, you know it. At least I know it when I'm there, for sure. You know, I can feel this sense of just knowing certain things. My instincts are like hyped beyond belief, and I can feel energies and hear voices and all kinds of different things. So I know that I'm in that place. For me, it's like turning on a light in a dark room. I'm awake and aware in a place that I shouldn't be, or at least that's what it feels like. Also, and I'm just kind of giving out tips as I would on Sundays. And reminders, you know, this is stuff to really think about if you are looking at having an experience. Remember your dreams. Again, I tend to use this in the subreddit as some sort of attack or something like that. Oh, it was a lucid dream. It was only that. It was only a dream. And again, I've said this before, I'll say this again. Lucid dreaming is not easy. It is extremely difficult to do. As if you were to go on the subreddit for lucid dreaming, you would find out that a lot of people struggle to be able to do it. So, um, I always will take that as a compliment if somebody says that. Oh, great, yeah, lucid dreaming's tough. You know, if you're telling me that that was what it was, that's great. Um, but dreaming is also important because it may be a way for your expanded self, your expanded part, or what many people refer to as their higher selves, to reach out to you, to speak to you. Because, you know, in your conscious life, in your conscious world, when you're walking around and you have all this noise and you have family and you have your job and you have all these things that are going on, you might not be able to hear that part of you. And that's the part of you that I believe that's going to get you out there in the first place, right? It's going to get you out into an experience, whether it be on the astral plane or to a different reality. It's going to get you out there. So it's important to listen to what it has to say. Another tip: when you lie down and you are making an attempt try to get rid of all expectations. I've said this before, but I will continue to say it. Get rid of your expectations because you've already got it in your mind that things are going to be in a certain way. But they may be completely different than what you think. And in my experience, it is usually the case. What I think an experience is going to be when I'm, before I do it is way different than when I'm actually experiencing it. So the really, really important part of this, guys, is to trust your instincts. Again, I've talked about it before, but to me, these are very important things. If you felt as if you did travel to another reality or you traveled to into the astral plane, trust yourself, be confident. Don't worry about it if someone on a subreddit says, no, I don't think that's what it was. Because remember, guys, and I know it's hard with the internet. I grew up in a time before there was an internet. So this is why I can say this with confidence. These people that are telling you that you didn't experience something, these people were not there. And many times, the only reason why they're telling you that you didn't experience it is because they've read things on the internet and it says that it should be a certain way. Expectations, remember. These are expectations. It should be this. It should be that. You should see a light. You should feel this, or you shouldn't feel anything, or whatever, right? You know what? These people, many times, have never even experienced it. And they're telling you, they're telling you that you didn't experience it. So keep that in mind. Building this trust with yourself, trusting your instincts, building this trust is like building muscles. The more you trust yourself, the stronger you get. And one of the last tips today, and I don't think this is emphasized enough, but I have talked about it before. I will say it again. It is so important to love yourself. I know these aren't methods. This isn't a method. Oh, you lay down and then you do A and then you do B and then you do C. No, these aren't that. But in my experience, this makes these parts that are able to get you out there, they make it stronger. Love and listen to yourself. Listen to your instincts. Okay, that's it for this Sunday. And just a quick reminder, Storyville, my new fictional channel, is up. And I will leave a link in the description. Hoping you guys take a moment to go over there and listen to. I'll be adding stories to it, but I worked very hard to create these stories, and I hope you will give me a moment of your time and check it out. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, and until next time, take care.